This is Carl with the three things I'm watching for Wednesday, October the 8th. Starting out, I want to talk about basis and spreads just a little bit. I don't want to delve into this and bore you all right off the beginning here. But what I want to talk about is what we're seeing. We're about a third of the way through corn harvest in the United States is what what we're thinking we should be at. Probably didn't get an update this week, but I think we should be a third, maybe a strong third done with corn harvest. Soybeans probably a touch more. Basis values starting to tighten already considerably. We saw some 15-cent jumps in basis on soybeans yesterday, or I should say in the last few days. Corn basis starting to snug up about a nickel. Doesn't tell me we have huge yields out there, and it certainly doesn't tell me we have big movement taking place. And looking at the spreads, we're starting to see, corn, we get a fair amount of carry, but soybeans starting to firm up here a little bit. Now, we are in the Goldman roll, and that will affect spreads a little bit. And Goldman roll is when a lot of your traders, they take the nearby positions, they roll them out. It takes about a week. They do about 20% per day. So we're in the midst of that. That'll be taking place this week. But the thing is, the market is starting to tell us that either the crop is smaller than we thought or demand is better than what numbers have shown. I'm thinking it's probably somewheres in the middle. But I do think your demand, and again, we continue to hear these stories, and one major group continues to tell us, mainly the American Soybean Association, that we have no soybean demand, and I'm telling you, that's a complete lie. It's a flat out lie, and I don't know how to put it anyplace else. Look at basis and look at spreads. That tells you that that's a lie. We have soybean demand. We just don't have China, and right now, again, we don't need them. Second thing I'm talking about here today is soybean, an interesting development starting to take place. Now, I did talk to some farmers in central Minnesota yesterday. I've talked to farmers in Illinois. I've talked to farmers all across the United States. And one thing that is becoming a little bit more common, two beans per soybean pod, two bean pods. And not I wouldn't say the entire crop, by no means, I don't mean that. But there is enough there that I think this is going to be a factor. It's just one more chip away at these huge yields that are coming out. And talking about some of these huge yield estimates, we saw one come out yesterday. Cordonera put his corn yield 181 bushels per acre. I'm in that camp with him. Still a record, but boy, not what the USDA is expecting, and certainly not what the USDA is using in balance sheets. Take 4 bushels, take 5 bushels off the US corn yield and see what it does to balance sheets. About the same thing if you take 1 bushel off the soybean balance sheet. So we're still there. And like I said, basis and spreads continue to support these ideas. Third and final thing I want to talk about, and this is a question I've been asked more in the last couple of days. What's going to happen if we don't get the WASDE report? Well, we're not going to get the WASDE report. I would be amazed if it came out. No government, no report. Bottom line is nothing. We will continue to use the September numbers. Right, wrong, or different, though we just use the latest set of numbers, trade will, until we get a new set. And if that takes until November, it takes until November. Probably we'll see the data has been collected for the October release. I believe the last time we had a shutdown, the two reports were released the following. So we may get two, the October and the November report in November. Not sure what the USDA is going to do. We don't have any clarification, but as far as the market itself, the government shut down more of a factor on the outside markets. That's why we had gold up over $4,000 an ounce for the first time yesterday. We're seeing some safe haven buying there, a little bit in the commodities. But as far as day-to-day market activity, the closure of the government and the lack of the WASDE report not going to be a huge factor. Those are the three things I'm watching today.